There is a statement that question opens the mind, but statement actually closes it. And today I'm here for us to discuss or think about what good questions or what great questions can we ask our children for them to be open to us and for their minds to be opened. So then you can get a copy of my book here, Questions That Open the Heart of a Child. Now, the thing is, what questions do you ask your children after school? Let's say your children come back from school, and I have asked many parents, and most of them, they just ask, how was school? How did school go today? What was it? What happened? These are a closing kind of question. And so the children will end up by saying, nothing new, everything was okay. They say, what happened? Then the child would begin to give short answers, what I call the linguistic fine. The child will use this linguistic tool, I'm fine, nothing. Then it's not actually opening the child up to say exactly what the problem is. So in this book, there are specific questions. I have the parents question bank where you can get questions that help the brain to develop, the child psychology or brain development, that the questions would actually guide connectivity so that you are connected to your child, to your spouse. This question would also work well for your spouse. Can you imagine your child came back from school and you're asking, hello, honey, or you're asking your son or daughter, what made you laugh today in class? What was the funniest thing you can remember after class? That is an welcoming one. So the child will now be open. Then use that linguistic phrase, can you tell me more? So you are actually not putting the child that kind of interrogative kind of question, but you're looking at connectivity, how you can actually connect with your child. This is very important in this life. And so when you get a copy of my book here, Questions That Open the Child's, the child's heart, it would guide you, it would help you. Mind you, it is not an antidote for everything. It is not an absolute answer. It doesn't replace your psychologist. It doesn't replace your medical advices or whatever. But please, it is to help. Then we can all ask questions. If questions opens the mind, then good questions would open the mind well as well. And then that would help the children, that would help society grow well, and then society will learn more, and then a lot of things would come out of it, and we can build that kind of society. So, I just have this as part of my conclusion into the book that said introduction that says a child is not a clinical project to be managed, nor a behavioral deficit to be corrected. A child is a human person possessed of inherent dignity. Long before a child requires your diagnosis, your rectification, or your utilitarian solutions, they possess a fundamental psychological and existential need to know. My parent desires to understand me. So the children are not project, neither are they behavioral deficit. Every child was born calm and cool. You see, so sometimes I know it doesn't require so much bigger training. It's about reading. The more we're reading, the more our neurons are active and the more we are adapting to things. So, when the children are asked good questions, they behave well as well because sometimes you are training them as an interrogator. You are becoming a detective in their life. Then it's difficult for them to model a life that would fit society. And, Having asked many parents, and they all say, almost 90% say the same thing. What question would you ask your child after school, after an event, or after church, or after any other excursion? What question would you ask? But most people pick their children and begin to ask, how was your school today? How did you score in mathematics, or how did you do in mathematics? And then the child feel like an interrogation, or you're waiting for a marks that he was or she will score in the class. But actually, you are innocent. You are trying to be closer. But which question brings us closer? So behind the book, I have parents question bank, where questions are there. Example, I will share a little bit with you in my book here. And then these questions have actually been labeled. A question that will bring you in connection to your child. That means this question would bring the child closer. For example, then the question banks have relational proximity and connection. What brings you closer to your child and what connects you? Because you connect before you correct. You don't just meet people and you're correcting them. You wouldn't do that, but sometimes mistakenly, you may be doing that to your child, and that's a little bit problematic. But we can look at it. I know escaped echelons of event, but you see, what I'll say is that the prolegominal to the situation must actually be steady. Sometimes you can be very good. You can have PhD. You can have whatever you want, but there are basic skills that if you don't train yourself, you might not have. You may have a good question for research, but you might not have a good question to turn your child into that lovely boy, girl that you wish for. And so here, for example, the relational proximity and connection, you can have a questions like these are calm questions. These are questions that one could actually ask and then bring the child more closer to him or her than guardians, parents, pastors, leaders, wherever teachers would also need it. Because the question you put before the child after school, do you know there are some teachers you cannot forget about them? And you think that it was just a like. No, some of them were able to ask the right question that turn you on, that you will not forget them. But if you are remembering a teacher for punishment and all that, that comes with a scar. But when the good questions are asked, you can stay in connection and be helpful. So, for example, it's lovely to ask what specific moment brought a genuine smile to your face today. For example, when you ask this, the child would really love it. The child would be happy to have such thing. So you are asking what was nice today. Can you remember anything that let you smile? And then the child will be turned on because he sees that, okay, my parents, my guardians, or whoever is with me really cares about me as a person, but not just as a behavioral deficit that he has to supplement. That is not how the child feels. The child feels so good. And the questions ask, yeah, what stood out as the definitive highlight of your day? Wow, fantastic. Then the child would take his or her time. I ask sometimes my kids that, after event, then I ask them, what are one thing that made you laugh? Or I sometimes ask them, can you tell me things that has made you thankful for the last 24 hours? And then she goes by saying, you know what? It's a lot of things that I say, okay, could you tell me? And then it will surprise you sometimes what I hear. What she's thankful for, what he's thankful for. I say, wow. So assuming I didn't ask, then I'm not treating her side of appreciation. But when you do ask, then you are telling them that there is a need to be thankful. And so you now go back, recall, and begin to see things they should be thankful for. I know life can sometimes be tough, can be elsewhere. You can have situations that is over you. But no matter what, there is always something to be thankful for or about. That is, we want society, want to have that. And then questions like, did you encounter anything today that captured your interest or curiosity? So, what makes them curious? And it will surprise you. Sometimes they are having a pair friendship kind of fracture, and these questions. So, behind the book, there are questions. These questions are to connect you to your child, to your student, to your church member, to your wife. Because Bible says that, yeah, to go. I mean, you have to be like a kid to be able to enter the kingdom of God. So these questions turns the heart of a child. Yeah, it opens it up, but it will opens the heart of an adult who is also, a child, let's say, and then sometimes you'll be surprised your husband or your wife would need some of these questions to say, honey, yeah, what made you really happy today? Do you have something that made you laugh? Can you share that with me? Maybe we can laugh together. Most of the times now, because of digital world, when you ask, they bring some shorts, show it to you, and then you laugh together. Laughing and smiling is also good. We shouldn't. Some questions would introduce fear into your life, create anxieties for you. But then when God guides you, and then you add the right question, then you are opening. There is nobody who is closed. People are close or open based on the questions that are put before them. If the question put before them actually makes them recall or recoil into themselves and will not speak, that means that it was the question actually that made them so, but they don't have the intention to be so. Critically, then I have also the 30-day parenting activity where you have questions per a week. What question you would want to use for your child? A lot of people are getting a copy of this book. Questions, yeah, that you see, the questions that open a child's heart. So that, Bible talk about the heart, the creator talk about the heart, but the question is that there is a neurocardiological version of the heart. That means that this heart that has only one muscle, it can keep things, emotions. You're thinking about amygdala, yeah, the the guy who send warning signals. But the heart, when your heart is free, when your heart is out of pain, you feel good, you know you feel okay. And that is what we want to do. And the more we're reading and the more we're getting some of these questions up, the more we are able to help our society. Because these children are going tomorrow to take over. They will be taking over. And so if we don't turn them into what we want, turn them into good adults, then we would be answering the same question: where is the world going? So let us do that, and let us enjoy, and let us get a copy. You can get it on Amazon. There's an electronic version. You can also get it on Google Play Books. You can get your copy and then read. If you are starting a relationship, you are with a guy or a lady, trust me, some of these questions would help you to build a great foundation for your relationship. Because a good question would open the mind, a good question would open the heart, a good question would connect, but a bad question would separate, brings argument, and creates confusion, because then it puts people on the defensive mode. If questions put people on defensive mode, no matter what, they will defend themselves, because every human being is important. Every human being matter. And then every human being, whatever they do, is also nice. They were created wonderfully by God. So whenever you introduce a question that look demeaning, they will react. So when your actions are demeaning, they will react. There is an action and there's intent. You can act anything, but then the intention is what anyone will evaluate. So I believe you are getting your copy soon. You read, you give me a feedback, you can give your review, and then practice this the 30-day and see how your parenting improves. But a disclaimer, as I said, it is not all sides. I mean, it doesn't answer everything in this world. It is not an absolute gesture, but it is an avenue to improve your parenting, your relationship, and to ask questions that will let people open up without forcing them. I mean, you don't put them into a forceful disclosure, but you put them into a humane and strategically bringing them together as people who matter and then as people who would also count in society. Accountability would not happen when good questions are not asked, but accountability would happen when good questions are asked. When there is no connectivity, then correction would not happen. So I think that it's going to be, when you get a book, there are more to it. There are more neurobiology and also certain definitions are made simple. And so this book, many are getting it, parents are getting it, teachers are getting it, because as a teacher, if you know the question that opens the children's heart, you improve on your skill because they will share a lot with you. It will be surprising that a teacher would know what a doctor knows a little bit, a pastor knows, because the kids come from such homes. And so when questions will let them talk, trust me, you learn a lot from them because what they see their parents do and all that. But I'm not saying that to make them, put them under duress and all that. Because every question that makes the sympathetic nerves rise creates defense. And whenever there is a defense, it is tough to break through. But the children also requires boundaries. Let us treat our children as human beings, but not as a behavioral deficit that we have to always add up to make them complete. No. Thank you very much. And I believe that you're getting it. You can leave a comment. You can buy on Amazon, give a review on Amazon, get your copy, and then you will enjoy. And then give me feedback in some a day or some years to come what this book has played in your life in parenting, because now parenting is difficult together with this digital world with various information and all that, and it's putting parents and guardians, uncles and aunties under pressure because a lot of informations are going on. But I'm sure when we ask our children good questions that would tend their hearts, questions that will open their heart, open their mind, they will grow up to be fantastic and lovely people that we would all want to see. I hope and pray that God will guide us and lead us to ask the right question, because every project begins with a question. And then when you have an idea of solution, then you work towards it. And when the solution works, you are getting statements there, and then it's also answering somebody's question. Mind you, we are over 8 billion people in the world. And it means that whatever you have to do, any good thing you have to do, somebody will like it. Somebody might not like it, but never give up. Do it. Sometimes it is quantity over quality. Why is it quantity? In a matter of, if let's say you have only one product and the rest are not happy with it, then it means those who are happy with it are enjoying it. But if you have, let's say, two or three products, then those who didn't like product one will like product two. So, quantity and quality have their place. They have where a role they play. And so I pray that this book also have the biblical support where, Bible talk about we also listening than to be quick to speak. In fact, get a copy and you will enjoy it. Thank you very much for your attention. And then Dr. William Lamptey, with MD degree, with theology, with ministry, with tropical medicine, with public health, trained also in surgery, trained also at the other side, and a musician and author with over 27 books published and continue to publish, and also love playing piano at my free time, and then love teaching. I've been teaching medicine in English, surgery in English, pediatrics in English. Let's say general surgery, general medicine in English, and also be teaching in German language, especially the special language for somebody who want to practice medicine in Germany And then the first line to sing is like the Fachsprachprüfen. I do that also. So as a teacher, a lecturer, a visiting professor sometimes to other institutions, I love writing and I love sharing. And over the 10 years, the experiences I've gathered from parent child bonding and the questions that helps, I thought about coming up with a book that would help somebody, help a friend, to help a friend, to help a friend, and to help a friend. Thank you very much, and you are wonderfully made. And never give up. You can make it. No matter the condition, present condition, you can still make it. Enjoy your day till we meet with the next discussion. Thank you. Дякую. Я хочу казати, питання, які може селти діти можуть викривати. So, I put in the Ukrainian language. So, I'll say дякую, and then danke, thank you, and we'll meet the next section. Bye.